bro, but let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Samantha Fox.
Hi, darling. How are you?
What is going on? Happy New Year, life across the pond. Tell me everything.
Well, it's been a great Christmas, a great New Year. Before Christmas, I cancelled some work. Most Christmases I work really like before Christmas. I do a lot of gigs, especially parties for big companies. And this year, I just really wanted to chill and have a lovely Christmas with my family. And I've had a great New Year. It was quiet New Year. I just watched the TV and all the amazing fireworks and Big Ben, as you do. I saw the New York, the ticker tape and all their New Year's Eve. That looks fantastic too. Um, yeah, so no, it was lovely at home. We just watched loads of bands and watched the fireworks on the big wheel, the London Eye, and the Big Ben. It was lovely to go down there. I think is so packed. It's very difficult to get home from those places at night.
New York is the same way. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, listen, you've been doing this for pretty much your whole life. When you think back to like the beginning of your career, you started like with your first single when you were a teenager. You
Yeah.
started with pinups. I know your mother
Yeah.
sent in pictures of you and got you into this amateur modeling contest. Like, does that seem like, do you have vivid memories of that time, or does that seem just like another lifetime?
Not really, because it was the beginning, and you never forget the beginning. And although I'd been in bands, I was in a band with a SFX, who was like a boy band, not a boy band, but mainly male musicians and a girl up front. Because I always wanted to be kind of a Debbie Harry. So we did some touring and we released a single, and it got to like maybe 40 something. It wasn't fantastic. And then I went back to my school and stayed on to do my O levels and A levels. And then I entered this beauty competition. We just sent in a picture of me in a beautiful Victorian basque, and the show was called, the competition was called Girls, You Can Be the Face and Shape of 83. So, yeah, 40 years ago. Woo-hoo. And yeah, it does seem like yesterday to me, because I was finishing my levels in school, so I was revising a lot at home. And then I'd entered this competition. It kind of this picture that I'd entered when my mother did. And I was like, yeah, all right then, why not? I'd already been working as a Saturday girl at that time in a greengrocer's and caused quite a lot of attention. And a lot of amateur photographers would come in and say, oh, well, I really want to take your picture. But I'm glad I was quite astute at that age to think I'm not going to go in some back street photographer studio. So yeah, it was this competition. Mum said, "Do you want to do it?" I said, "I'd love to enter it. Let's see what can happen." And we never heard anything. So I carried on with my schoolwork, which was important. My dad was like, "Got to carry on," and my mum. And then suddenly I got a call out the blue saying I'd reached the final 20, and then went for a professional photographic shoot. And then that picture appeared on the front paper of this big major paper. And I had to go to school on the Monday. It wasn't topless at that time. It's something that I did a little bit later. And there was the war in the Falklands going on at the time, and all the soldiers said, "We want more of Sam Fox." And that was just a competition. Anyway, I came second in that competition. But at the end of the day, this was the Mirror Group. So if I would have won, I'd never have signed up to the Sun, which was the biggest paper in Britain, read by I think 20 million people at that time. And they signed me up then because I wasn't a Mirror girl. They signed me up for like 4 years. Yeah.
Talk to me about, because I read your book Forever. People hear, your mother sent your pictures in when you were a teenager. I mean, it sounds scandalous, but I know you've said like
Yeah.
it's not as scandalous as it really sounds, right?
No, no, of course, no, not at all. My parents have never been pushy parents. In actual fact, I went to drama school for the age of 5 and mixed with a lot of adults in many plays and musicals. I was very astute I was nearly 17 when this happened. Everyone goes, "Oh, she was only just 16 and her mother sent these pictures." It just wasn't like that at all. It was the face and shape. So it was a girl with a pretty face with a nice figure, and a bit like Sports Illustrated, I guess. Um, and that just took off like you wouldn't believe. And I signed a 4-year contract with Sun. So in those 4 years, I knew that I wanted to be the best at what I was doing. and I kept it very, very tasteful. Remember, my dad was my manager, and my mum travelled with me, so it was all kept very, very tasteful. And having the contract to be their girl, I felt special, and I wasn't going to get kind of thrust into this industry working with really dodgy photographers. I'm so pleased about that because straight away I was signed up as someone quite important. And then it got so big in the way that if I'd open a menswear store on a Saturday, there would be like 10 to 15,000 pubescent boys there. And I didn't realize the amount of fame that I had. Because obviously you see your picture in the paper, you don't realize what's going out there in the world. But when I used to turn up to open places, they called it Sand Mania. It was like unbelievable. There'll be times I'd have to escape from the roof of the building and a helicopter pick me up because I just got to get out of the building. And many a times the front glass of the windows used to just come crashing in, and all these young 13, 14-year-old boys would just go, ah, and run towards me. Many a times my little desk that I'd sit up and sign their autographs, you'd look back and it just, or the news did, and it'd just be like crumpled on the floor. I think, oh, that could have been me. So it went massive, it really did. And I thought in those 4 years, I want to be the best. I want to make things different. I went on TV, was a presenter for 17 months on a current affairs show. So trying to explain to Americans, the Sun was a family paper. It's what every family bought and looked at every day. I know it sounds crazy, but because when I first made America, they was like, "What's page 3?" And I'd say, "Oh, it's a page after 2." And then explain to them that it's been a British institution for, oh my God, 50 years now. 50 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got sent, then I went on a TV show called Terry Wogan, which is, I guess, like being on David Letterman or something like that. And it was the first time I'd been on TV with a voice. And that went down really well. And then I said that I could. They said, "Oh, Samantha, what other interests you got?" And I said, "I love to sing. I've been singing since I was really young, and one day I want to actually go into the pop music business." So I still felt quite young, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'd had my dabble with the music business, but it's you don't have your mum with you and travel with you on backs, like in vans and stuff like that. So modeling was just more kind of controlled and with my mum and my dad. So that was great. And but then when I said on Wogan, I love singing, then I got so many companies, record companies, sending me tracks, and they would come to my house on a cassette tape. Some of them were just, well, most of them was awful, to be honest. And then I heard Touch Me, that was posted to me by Jive Records. Just want you to have a little listen to that and would love to have a meeting in 2 or 3 days. Well, I put it on and I just knew it was a hit. I just knew it. I just knew it. And I met with the record company. They came a few days later and